The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's role play session with your co-host, Rick Brash.
Well, thanks, Andrea. Welcome, coaching members. Great to have you on board for the role play clinic today, Thursday. As always, we do this to help you get better at dealing with your prospects with that initial phone call that you make once the lead is generated. Crucial training, and I say this to all of you that I work with, crucial training. We get really good at generating leads. In fact, many of you will agree with me that generating leads is not the chore. It's actually quite easy when you lay some marketing out there that simply talks to the market. But then there's the second phase of this lead generation strategy that's called conversion, or as I often refer to it, conversion one. Taking the raw lead, determining the timing and motivation, and making an appropriate offer. And this is often, as Craig says, where the rubber hits the road. This is the Achilles heel sometimes for our members because they just can't get their head around the simplicity of the universal callback script. So every Thursday, we try and get as many of you on the phone as we can, and we give you some tips, some tricks, some techniques, some practice at improving with the universal callback script. And I got to tell you, I've been coming on this call since, I don't know, back in 2000, and the premise of the call hasn't changed that much. The universal callback script hasn't changed that much. It doesn't need to change. It works. The prospect comes to you needing something. They raise their hand. They say you'll take what you're offering. Now we have a ripe lead. What do we do with that lead? Well, the first thing we want you to do is call them. Get them on the phone. Don't wait. Don't be scared. Don't be nervous. Sometimes you say, well, we're too nervous to come on the role play and talk with James or Craig or Rick. Then I say, don't be nervous coming here. Be nervous about not calling your prospects because that affects your bank account. So get them on the phone, take them through the questions with the universal callback script, gain the needed skill, as James McDonald talks about every week, at creating an understanding of their timing and motivation, and then, as Todd Walters, our platinum coach, teaches us, make a predictable or an acceptable offer. Everything we do here is offer-based. We just want to get you in a position where you can make the right offer. So there's an offer for a buyer. There's an offer for a seller. Learn those offers inside and outside, upstairs, downstairs, any way you have to. Learn how to make an offer that's so exciting to the buyer or the seller that they have to take you up, meet with you, and become a client. It's real simple. What's your mindset? The mindset is let's get to the point of making the appropriate offer. So that's what I want to drill into your head today. Now, over the course of that 5-minute or less conversation, you're going to bump in to a few objections. You're going to hear a few things that aren't written on the universal callback script, but your steady flow through the questions should enable you to easily handle most of the common objections. So Craig and I today, we're going to continue where we went last week or 2 weeks ago. We're going to talk a little bit about objections. How do you deal with the objection in that 3-minute conversation that sort of throws a monkey wrench into the whole conversation, makes you turn left, makes you stutter, makes you squirm a little bit because you don't know where to go? Well, today, Craig and I are going to talk a little bit about that as well. And speaking of Craig, I think he went off to get a bottle of water. He's probably back.
Yeah, I'm here, and it's fresh and it's cold.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, so Rick, I was talking to James McDonald about what we're going to do here today. We're going to change it up a little bit here today. And what I want to do is I want you folks to be the prospect today. And I'm going to be the agent. We're going to do this for a little bit. Okay, normally we do it the other way around, right? We say, who wants to volunteer for role play? And then I say to you, well, what type of prospect do you want me to be? Do you want me to be a buyer prospect or a seller prospect? And what campaign did I respond to? And then you say, well, Craig, you be a buyer, and you responded to the fixer-upper ad or the distress sale ad, and then ring, ring, and then you're the agent and I'm the prospect. So we're going to flip this around because I want to show you how easy this really is. The best way to demonstrate this is I'm going to be me, the agent, and I want you to be the prospect. Now, you can throw all the crazy stuff at me. I want you to throw all your objections. Now, I want to point this out. This is what James said, the mistake that many of you are making. He says, you guys try to handle objections that you shouldn't handle over the phone. So, for example, if the buyer says, well, I only want to work with a listing agent, then that's not you don't need to handle that over the phone. That objection can be handled face-to-face. The only purpose of the script is to determine motivation and timing, and then at the end of the 3-minute conversation, slot the prospect into one of 3 categories. You're either going to book an appointment with them, or you're going to say bye-bye, never follow up with them again, or you're going to follow up. Those are the only 3 outcomes to the conversation. Now, as we go through this process here today, if you folks jerk me around too much, if you give me too much resistance, you're going to see that my response is going to be thanks and have a nice day. Remember, I have hundreds of leads. I have hundreds of buyers and sellers, so if I get too much resistance, the prospect, thankfully, has told me that they're too much work. They're not worth it. They're not a good fit with me, and I should not waste any more time with that prospect because I have all these other prospects that are better or potentially better. Okay, so I want you to think about this. I want you to think about situations where you have some difficulties, and this is your opportunity to hear me handle the things that are challenging you. So we're going to take some volunteers. So who would like to be the first volunteer? You raise your hand, and you tell me what type of prospect you're going to be, okay, what you responded to. I'm going to be the agent, and I'm going to call you, and you're going to throw your best objections at me, and I'll show you how I handle this. And hopefully by changing this up a bit, it'll give you a different perspective on this. So, Andrea, do we have any volunteers yet?
We do. We have a lot of volunteers, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead and click the hand icon. Remember, you must have a working mic or preferably be on the telephone to role play with us today. You can also type in the chat box your objection or that you'd like me to open your mic. We'll go to first, Marcelina Martel. Your mic is now open.
Hello, Marcelina.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. What type of buyer or seller do you want me to be, Marcelina?
Calling in off of the 800 call capture on my home evaluation postcard.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm calling you back. Ring, ring. May I speak to Marcelina?
Hi, this is Marcelina.
Oh, hi. This is Craig Proctor with ABC Realty, and the reason I'm calling you, Marcelina, is I received your request for the evaluation you wanted on your home, and I just wondered if you folks were planning on making a move at all.
You know, we've been tossing the idea around, but we're not quite sure yet.
And if you were to move, would you be staying in the area or moving away?
Oh yes, we'd definitely be staying in the area. We're moving. We'd like to move to a senior community. But again, you know, we're not too sure. There's just lots of things that we need to consider first.
And if you were to make this move, when do you think it might be?
As I said, you know, it could be tomorrow. It could be a year. You know, we just don't know yet. We just don't know.
And do you have a realtor to help you if you were to decide to pursue this?
Oh, no, we don't.
And would you prefer to find your next place before you put your home up for sale, or would you rather get your home sold first before you look around?
You know, I think that we definitely would need to sell. I only owe about $48,000 on my current home, so more than likely we would need to sell first because I want to, you know, I'm looking to retire, and I definitely want to sell first. I would need to sell first because I'd pay cash for my new home that I purchased.
All right. So if the right opportunity came up, are you in a position to act on this right away?
Well, you know, it really would depend on, you know, how much I could sell my house for. You know, I don't know. That's a question I haven't quite figured out yet.
Well, I could probably help you with that. Would you like a free market evaluation to determine what your home would sell for? Also, I could give you some advice on what to do and what not to do to sell your home for sale, to sell it for the most amount of money. And we could go over all the various closing costs you would incur, so you would know exactly what you would net in your pocket after all expenses. It's free of charge to meet with me. You're never obligated to do anything. Marcella, do you think that might be helpful?
Yeah, that sounds like something I think I would be interested in. But look, I'm heading out of town next week, so maybe you could follow up with me in a couple weeks.
All right. Would you rather meet before you left? It'll only take about an hour. Are you available over the next couple days?
You know, that's not going to work. My husband just had knee surgery. I'm packing up to go out of town, so I'll be back in my office August 1st. How about you follow up with me August 1st, and we can go from there.
Why don't we do this? Since we're both on the phone, it sounds like you've got a busy schedule. I've got my calendar open for August 1st. Why don't we set up a tentative appointment to meet that week?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Now, let's stop there for a minute. How many of you go that extra step to actually do that? Or how many of you say, okay, I'll call you back in August? Remember, time is not our friend. Only bad things can happen, right? So now that I have you on the phone, I want to make sure that since you're saying, yeah, I can do it in August, well, then let's book a tentative time.
Right.
Great. So I'll see you on August 2nd at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, great. Sounds good.
Great. Take care. Enjoy your vacation or wherever you're going.
Okay.
That's it. All right.
Okay. So I learned from that because that was a lead that I had yesterday, and I wasn't sure where to go just because of the fact I did it right up until the part that you just said. Let's meet right now. And I waited. I didn't schedule the appointment. So
right, because you said you weren't moving. You weren't going away until next week. Okay, so today's Thursday. Next week would mean the earliest would be Monday. So what's wrong with Friday, Saturday, or Sunday?
Right.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. Yeah.
Now, when you said, well, I've got all this stuff going on in my life, but I could meet with you in August. That tells my brain, well, then let's make an appointment for the first week in August. And if you'd have pushed me away, then my brain would have been thinking, okay, you say you're not going away until next week, which still leaves us Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You don't want to meet Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Then you say you're going to be back at the beginning of August, and you still don't want to meet. I'm thinking, it doesn't sound like you're very sincere about wanting to meet me.
Right.
Okay, well, I hope that helped, and that's what today is all about, is I want you folks to bring me your objections, things that are you're having difficulty with, and hopefully we can all learn from this. So thank you very much, and let's go back to Andrea and see who's next.
Our next guest is Evelyn Lopez. Your line is now open.
Good morning.
Good morning, Evelyn. How are you on this beautiful Thursday morning?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. What type of prospect do you want to be this morning?
A prospect who's called in for a home valuation online.
Okay, so perhaps a postcard, maybe it's a display ad. It doesn't really matter where we're running the ad, but we're offering the online home evaluation, and I'm calling you back. Ring, ring, may I speak to Evelyn? Speaking. Oh, hi, Evelyn. It's Craig Proctor here with ABC Realty, and I received your request for the evaluation you wanted, and I wanted to follow up and see if you folks had any moving plans.
We're not sure right now. We're just I just saw your ad on the online and was just curious.
Okay. Well, if you were to move, would you be staying in the area, Evelyn, or moving away?
Probably moving out of the area.
And if you were to do that, when do you think that might be?
Again, we're not sure. It's we're just in the early stages. We just kind of want to know what our options are and how much our house is worth.
Okay, well, I can help you with that. And by the way, do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
Well, we have a few people that we talk to. Some of them are at some clubs that we belong to. One is a neighbor, but nobody specific.
All right, so you're not 100% committed to anybody?
No.
Okay, now, if you were to do this, if you were to make the move, would you prefer to buy, like find your next home first before putting a for sale sign on your front lawn, or would you rather get your home sold before you get excited about another property?
Well, we don't have to move, so I'd have to find a property that really excites me. So I would say we probably do it at the same time.
Okay, so you'd have to find something to kind of get you excited first. Well, what I could do for you is I'd be happy to email you daily updates of all the homes that match your home buying criteria from all the different real estate companies. And what's unique about my list is it'll include all the best deals in town, like bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, distress sales. And it's a free service. Of course, you're never obligated to buy anything or do anything at all. Do you think that might interest you?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm already getting something like that. Is it the same thing?
Well, I'm not sure what you're receiving right now, but my list is unique in the fact that you will get priority access to all the best deals like bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, and distress sales. Would you like to get information on those as well?
Oh, for sure.
Now, notice, everyone, that I said, would you like to get information on those as well, which infers that Evelyn's not getting that stuff. So it's a very subtle, would you like to get those as well? Now Evelyn's thinking, well, hell, I don't want to miss out on those things. I'm not sure if I'm getting those from the other realtor, and since it's all free and one realtor is the same as the next, who cares? I might as well accept Craigslist as well. So I get you to say okay. Now, once I get you to say okay, now you're kind of done for, right? Because now I come back with the commitment, which is, well, Evelyn, when can we get together for about 20 minutes so I can take down exactly what you're looking for?
Can I wait to see what you're sending me in the mail first?
Well, actually, I'm going to email it. And, Evelyn, I want to do a good job for you. You know, rather than me emailing you dozens of homes which may or may not match your criteria, or even worse, missing out on the perfect one, you know, if we can get together for about 15 or 20 minutes, I can get a really good understanding of what you're looking for. That way, I'll only be sending you homes that are a perfect match. So when do you think would be a good time for us to do that, days or evenings?
Days.
Great. Okay. How about tomorrow? What works better, mornings or afternoons?
Mornings before lunch.
Right. And we set a time. It's that easy. Now, do you see how easy this is for me, folks? Like, this is not difficult. And if you time me on all these conversations, you will not find a conversation that lasts 3 minutes long. Okay, so we've got 2 appointments here in 2 conversations. Now, maybe you guys are going to argue, well, you know, you're being too easy on me. So I welcome for people to fight me harder on this. But be forewarned, if you fight me too much, the answer will be thanks and have a nice day. And also, I'd like some of you to not be ready yet, because both Evelyn and Marcelina were ready now for appointments. So I want to thank you, Evelyn. That was a great role play. Hopefully that helps everybody. Let's move on. We'll take our next volunteer.
Yes, sir. Our next guest, Brooks Nicholson. Your line is now open.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hey,
Hello.
Brooks, how you doing? How are you doing? Happy Thursday morning.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you like you're sitting next to me.
Okay. I've tried several times, but my mic was not working previously.
You're
Okay,
coming in
I'm
full
well.
blast, nice and clear. What type of prospect would you like to be today?
I would like to be a very difficult prospect that you tell, have a nice day.
Okay, so you're going to fight me until I say have a nice
Right.
day. Okay.
I mean, I've had
So,
some guys here.
Yeah, okay, well, that's good. I mean, we want to be real here, and that's the thing. I want this to be real for you because, believe me, and Rick, you'll back me up on this, not every prospect that we speak to is a laydown. They don't all say, oh, come and get me, Rick, you know, come on over, and by the way, I'll pay you the full 7% commission. They're not all like that. So we want to make this real today. So, Brooks, what did you respond to?
Foreclosure.
Foreclosure properties. Okay, great. So I'm calling you back. Ring, ring. May I speak to Brooks, please?
This is Brooks.
Hey, Brooks. It's Craig Proctor with ABC Realty, and the reason I'm calling is I received your request for the foreclosure properties. Just wanted to let you know I've sent that information out to you, and I wondered if you folks were planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, I guess we're a group of investors who want, you know, cash, and so we're looking. I didn't get the list. Is it coming?
Well, I can send it out again to you. We did. Looks, my notes say we sent it out at 7:45 last night, but I can resend those. You might want to check your spam box.
Okay. Okay. All right. So when can I see it?
Now, okay, so this is an investment, so you're not going to be selling a home, and I assume you're looking in the area, not out of the area?
Yeah, I'm looking in the area.
Okay, and when are you in a position, if the perfect property comes up, to act on this?
I mean, any time. It doesn't matter. We can go we can do whatever. Doesn't matter.
Right, and do you have a realtor to help you?
We don't have a realtor, but we have several people that, that send us stuff.
All right, so you've got nothing to sell, you're just buying. What's your what's your time frame on this?
My time frame, I mean, like I said, we don't have any time. We're looking just for the right property. I saw that this was a foreclosure, and yeah, we're really interested in foreclosures, getting the best deal possible.
Okay, now I would like to email you daily updates of all the homes that match your criteria. You said you're interested in foreclosures, but you're probably interested in any homes that represent a good deal. And my list will include company-owned properties, vacant homes, any distress sales.
Yeah,
it's a free service, and of course you're never obligated to buy a home. Would that interest you?
Definitely.
Great.
Definitely.
Well, when can we get together for about 20 minutes so I can take down exactly what you're looking for?
Well, I can tell you right now what I'm looking for.
Okay, well, Brooks, I want to do a good job for you, and rather than me emailing you dozens of homes that don't fit the bill, or even worse than that, missing out on the perfect one, if we can get together for about 15 or 20 minutes, we can have a good conversation. I'll have a perfect understanding of what you're looking for. That way, you'll only get the homes that are a perfect match. So when do you think would be a good time for us to get together, days or evenings?
I mean, I'm pretty busy. Can't I just tell you this information over the phone right now? I mean, all the other, none of the other agents are asking to meet with me.
Well, I can't really comment on how other agents operate, but like I said, I want to do a good job for you. And, if you had a dentist appointment, I'm sure, you wouldn't want that done over the phone either. So there's certain things that are better if we can get together, because I do want to do a good job for you. So, and I'm sure you want me to do a good job. Obviously, these other agents that are sending information haven't sent you the perfect home, and that's why you and I are talking today. So are you available this week? Is there any time that's good for you?
I mean, I have to see. I just don't understand why I can't meet. My time is limited. I'm very busy.
Well, that's what's perfect about my service is your time is you're saying you're busy, and this service really is perfect for busy people like you, because once I know exactly what you're looking for, you're going to receive emails every single day of just the homes that match your criteria. Then on your own time frame, whenever it's convenient to you, you can drive by the ones that interest you. All we ask in return is you give us a call when there's properties you want to look at. Does that sound fair?
It does. What are we going to do when we meet? I mean, are we going to go look at some houses, or what are we going to do?
Well, I think before we jump in the car, like if you want to jump in the car and look at a couple, then we must look at all the homes that match your criteria. So I think a good first step is let's sit down and talk about what you're looking for before we run out and before I start making appointments on homes that I don't even know whether will interest you or not.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, here's what's going to happen. Brooks is he's going to continue to fight me, and if he want, I'm going to win this one way or the other, okay? Because here's how I'm going to win. Yeah. Brooks is either going to come in and meet with me, or it's over. And my answer would be, well, thanks and have a nice day. And it's not in an arrogant way. It's not that I don't want Brooks's commission, because I do, but I know what's going to happen if I wimp out. I know what's going to happen if I take his criteria over the phone and I start to email him properties. He will probably buy a property eventually, but it'll leave me behind. So I'd rather know from the onset whether I'm wasting my time or not.
Here's another thing I like about this conversation. For those of you that get calls from investors, the one thing you really, really want to protect is your time. Because an investor will waste, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but just by the nature of what they do, investors will waste a whole lot of our time. And what Craig is doing here is he's really protecting his time. And he's protecting it by insisting on his rules of engagement. Sorry, Craig.
Okay, how many of you liked it when Brooks said, well, you know what, all these other realtors I'm talking to, they don't make me come in and meet with them. And I responded with, well, obviously, like, they're not doing a good job for you, right, because we're on the phone today. If those other realtors that you're referring to were doing a great job for you, you wouldn't have contacted me. We wouldn't be talking today. You would have already found the right property. So that ain't working. So that's why we need to do this properly.
Yeah, that was great. I didn't think of it that way, that if all these other agents, because I get that, I've gotten that a lot from investors and from other real buyers. Well, the other agents aren't doing that, but I haven't come back with that response, which really made me change my thinking and see it from a different perspective. Well, yeah, I guess not.
Well, and the other point I made is the point I was trying to make is, like, they'll take time off work to go get their teeth cleaned, which, by the way, I did this morning at 8 a.m. I went and got my teeth cleaned, and the dentist didn't come to my house. We didn't do this over the phone. I got in the car, as busy as I am today, and I like to keep my teeth, so I want to keep them clean. Well, if people will take time off work, drive across town to go get their teeth cleaned, you would think buying an investment of a home worth several hundreds of thousands of dollars might at least be that important. So I remind them of that. When they say they're too busy, I might give an analogy, a little example to kind of bonk them over the head with the logic stick. It's like if you had a doctor's appointment, you would take, as busy as you are, or a dentist appointment, you would be there. Well, this is about buying a home. It's kind of important. I know you have these other agents that do it improperly, and they'll take your information over the phone, and they don't make you meet. But in other words, like, how's that working for you? Right? Like, you called me because they haven't found you a property, so let's do this properly. Keep repeating back to them, because I want to do a good job. Yeah. That's the killer right there, because no one can argue with that. Nobody could argue that a realtor can do a better job for you without sitting down and having a consultation. Right. It is the proper thing. Having a consultation before running a buyer all around town showing them properties is the proper way to do this. Nobody can argue with that. Now, assuming we're dealing with a rational person, and we're not always dealing with a rational person. Sometimes we're dealing with an irrational person, and the response to that is, thanks and have a nice day. We want to get rid of the crazies. All right, thanks, Brooks. That was excellent. Let's go back to our wonderful operator, Andrea, and we'll see who the next volunteer is.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Our next guest, Barbara Amstetter. Your mic is now open.
Hey, Barbara, I want to thank you for coming on pretty much all the calls. I want you to know it does not go unnoticed.
Thank you very much. I wanted to tell you I made a big boo-boo, and now I want to see if we can fix it.
Okay.
So it's true.
Tell me what. Do you want to just do the role play, or do you want to give me a heads up to what the big boo-boo was?
I'll tell you what the big boo-boo was, and you know what? This is how we learn, and we just have to not be embarrassed to admit when we've made a mistake. And I made a.
You know what? I love that attitude. Okay, I want everyone to write this down. I would say this over and over again in my team meetings. A mistake is not a mistake unless we don't learn from it.
Okay, so true.
A mistake is not a mistake unless we don't learn from it. So, yes, we had Gary Keller speak at our conference a couple times, and I don't know, one of the events, he said that he failed his way to success. And I like that. Yeah. I wrote that down. Gary Keller said he failed his way to success. We all do, right? In fact, there's another saying you might want to write down. I'm full of philosophy here today, Rick. How about this? There are no good marketers. There's only good testers.
Wow.
Right, and that's what we want to accomplish here today is yes, we make mistakes, but as long as we learn from those mistakes, it's not a mistake. It's a part of the learning process. All right, so tell us the mistake. What was the boo-boo?
Oh God, I had a fellow call me, and he responded to a Facebook regarding the waterfront homes with docks. And we got into a conversation, and I went through the script, just 100%, and then I wanted to make the appointment to meet with him. And he said, I am so busy, and I said, this is really perfect for a busy person. I went through everything, and he said, look at Barbara. He said, my wife and I are going out of town tomorrow. He said, we're probably going to buy in this next year.
And he said, we really want to buy something between $2.5 and $3 million. That's why I'm sick about screwing up. And, but he said, I really need you to send me the stuff online because I just don't have the time right now. And he said, and I'll get back to you. Well, let me just tell you, I knew that after I'd done it, I made the mistake. However, he keeps responding back to me. And he's, and so then I responded back to him and I said, why don't we get together because I don't want to send you things that don't work for you. And he's kind of resisting getting together, but he continues to communicate. So what the hell do I do now?
Well, I would use that as the reason why you should meet.
Okay.
What's the gentleman's first name?
It's Bart.
Okay, so Bart, this is Barbara here. I've received another email or another voicemail message from you, and it seems you have a number of questions. And look, I want to do a good job for you. See, that's what it comes down to. That's the slayer. That's the killer. I want to do a good job for you.
Okay.
And why don't we sit down, address all your concerns, answer your questions, perhaps discuss things that you haven't even thought of yet, so I can get you information on the very best homes that are going to match your criteria. Also remind them that the best deals go very quickly. You've got to be Johnny on the spot, right? What's worse, what's even worse, what they fear, even more than getting properties that don't match their criteria, what they really fear is missing out on the perfect one. And we know that, right? How many of us have had this experience of showing buyers homes, they make an offer on a home, it's like the home of their dreams, and they lose out in competition. And guess what? You can never find them a home as perfect as the one they lost. So they fear that. So make sure you use that as a reason that we should meet, because we don't want that to happen.
Okay.
Good stuff. Yep.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to do this role play. Barbara, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you ask me for? What did you request?
Oh, waterfront homes with docks.
Okay, ring, ring. May I speak to Barbara, please?
Barbara speaking.
Hi, Barbara. Craig Proctor here from ABC Realty, and I received your request for homes, waterfront homes with docks. Just wanted to let you know we sent out some information on those, and I wondered if you folks were planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months.
We could make a move. Actually, I want to buy down a little bit, but it could be as much as 6 months to a year. Just not sure right now.
Okay, and do you currently rent or do you own your own home?
Oh, no, we own our own home.
Okay, and are you planning on staying in the area or moving out of the area when you do move?
Well, we would stay in the area. We're in Newport Beach now, but we could look in Corona Del Mar and Newport Coast as well.
Okay, and if the perfect home came on the market, when do you think you might be in a position to make that move?
Well, we could really make that move at any time, but, I have 2 young daughters that are 8 and 10, and I probably want to, we may want to make a decision to stay through the next school year. I'm not 100% sure yet.
And do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
No.
Would you like me to email you daily homes that match your home buying criteria from all the different real estate companies? My list includes bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, and any distressed sales. It's a free service, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Do you think that might interest you?
Oh, I'd love that.
Great. Well, when can we get together for about 15 or 20 minutes so I can take down exactly what you're looking for?
Craig, really, I can give you that information over the phone. I'm pretty specific on what I want.
Okay. Well, I have a questionnaire, and I'd like to ask you some questions, perhaps some things that you have not even thought of yet. And I find that if I can get together with you and discuss exactly what you're looking for, I'll have a much better understanding of what you're looking for, and I really want to do a good job for you. So I don't want to, be emailing you dozens of homes that may not interest you, or even worse than that, I don't want you to miss out on the perfect one. So when do you think would be a good time for us to get together for about 15 or 20 minutes, days or evenings?
It's not the question. Right now, my wife and I are leaving to go out of town tomorrow. I'm a builder, and we're building about 1,100 homes in Arizona, and we're going to be over there probably for a couple of weeks before I even get back.
Well, why don't we meet before you leave? That way you'll be getting the information by email while you're away.
You're the best. At this point, I'm going to roll over for you. All right. Actually,
no. If you said to me, no, I want to wait until we get back from Arizona, I would have said, well, why don't we book a tentative time for that week? So either way, I'm getting you to commit to an appointment. Do you see?
Okay. Yes, I do.
If you said to me, I don't want to meet before I go to Arizona, and I don't want to commit to meeting you the week I get back, so then what is my brain telling me? Barbara's not sincere about meeting me. Right?
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay,
I guess.
So you'll notice, this is for everybody, you'll notice it's pretty much the same stuff over and over and over and over again. So Barbara, let's just do this end part over again, but I want you to be a bit tougher. I want you to resist meeting with me a bit more than this.
Okay.
So we're going to go from the offer right down from the offer. Barbara, would you like me to email you daily updates of all the homes that match your home buying criteria from all the different real estate companies? My list includes any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, any distressed sales. It's a free service. Of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Do you think that might interest you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Great. Well, when can we get together for about 20 minutes so I can take down exactly what you're looking for?
You know, Craig, my wife and I are leaving to go to Arizona tomorrow. You know, I'm a builder, and I'm building 1,100 homes over there, and I'm just super busy. I don't think we're going to be back for a couple of weeks.
Well, why don't we get together before you leave? That way you can be getting the information while you're in Arizona.
You know, my kids, I have two daughters. They're 8 and 10, and they're playing summer soccer, and I am just slammed between work and their activities. I just don't see a possibility before we leave.
Would it be more convenient if I met you at your home?
Well, that's a wonderful offer, Craig, but, you know, we're just, as I said, we're leaving tomorrow, and I know that my wife is slammed, and she would just probably kill me if I invited somebody over this evening or this afternoon to meet with us.
Well, when do you get back from Arizona?
Well, I'm thinking that tomorrow is the 18th, the 25th, 2 weeks from Friday. Hopefully we'll be back for that weekend, but a lot depends on how my projects are going in Arizona.
Okay, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we, since we're both on the phone right now, it sounds like you're busy, why don't we at least set up a tentative time for the week that you're back from Arizona?
Well, Craig, you know what, that sounds good, but the only problem is I'm not 100% sure we're going to be back then at that time. It could be another week, depending on, how, as I said, how the projects are going.
Well, that's why we're going to base this on a tentative appointment. So, you know, to be tentative, and if you find that you're not back, then, you know, simply give me a call and we can change the time to another time, an alternate time. But since we're both on the phone and you're busy, you know, you assume you're back at that point. We'll set up a tentative time, and if it doesn't work, give me a call. We'll change it.
Okay, that's great. That's great. All right. You know what, and I feel much more clear now on where to go with this.
See, these are all little tests to see how sincere the prospect is. Now, sometimes the prospect will say, well, you know what, Craig, how about this? We'll call you when we're ready. Well, that's not a good sign, right?
Right.
Yeah, how about this, Craig? We've got your contact information. Thanks for calling. We'll call you when we're ready to do this. I'm still going to follow up on someone like that, by the way.
Okay.
Because I might even say, well, Barbara, if I don't hear from you, would it be okay for me to follow up with you? Now, what if you said no? Then I've got my answer. And some realtors look at this and they say, well, then the script didn't do its job. And I'm going to argue, yes, it did. The script did do its job. The script was able to determine that this is a prospect that is never going to do business with me. And they're not all going to do business with us. But the key is we want to know very early, right from the onset, who to spend time with and who not to spend time with. Do you remember when you folks first got together with me at the first Super Conference? I said this. I said, my dream for all of you is to have slightly more buyers and sellers than you could ever work with. And I said, the reason you need slightly more buyers and sellers, because I said, well, what, you know, why would you want more buyers and sellers than you could work with? The reason you want slightly more buyers and sellers than you could work with is because not all of them are going to be good. and we want that luxury of choice. So when we're talking to a prospect that's just jerking us around a bit too much, they don't seem that motivated, their timing is way off into the future, isn't it empowering to be able to say, next, thanks and have a nice day is, if you translate that, really what we're saying is, see you later.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back earlier in my career, I didn't have that luxury. I had to work with everybody. They could be, borderline rude. Well, actually, they could be rude. They were rude, and I'd still work with them because I had to, and that's not a great position to be in. So you did a great job here, Barbara, and you've got some great questions. And I don't think you made a mistake that's not repairable. I think you can call this gentleman back, and I think the fact that he's contacting you over and over again is a very good sign, and you're going to use that as the reason why there should be a meeting.
All right.
You're going to say, Bart, you've emailed me 5 times in the last week. There's obviously some concerns you have, and use this as well. There's probably things, Bart, that you haven't even thought of, right? That we should have a little consultation here to make sure that you get all your questions answered, and that we address things that perhaps you haven't even considered yet.
Okay.
Because I want to do a good job for you. I really love that. That made me so much money. It's disarming to the prospect. I mean, what do they want us to do? A bad job for them? And it makes sense that we would do a better job for them with a meeting. Thank you, Barbara, very much.
Thank you, Craig, very much.
Let's go back to Andrea. We'll see who's next.
Our next guest is Sam Shao. Your line is now open.
Hello.
Is this Sam from Richmond Hill?
Hi, Craig. How are you?
How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you. And yourself?
I want to know whether you're a millionaire with this program yet.
Almost. I feel like a millionaire, though.
Good. Well, you know what? You're enthusiastic.
Thanks.
I read a quote the other day. Let me see if I can find this here for you. And when I read this quote, I thought of you. Let me just see if I can pull this up here. Let me see if I can find this here, because it was really good. And I thought of you when I read this quote. It's coming up here. Stay with me.
I'm here.
Okay, I've got a couple of good quotes for you guys today. Okay, hang on. Don't go anywhere, Sam.
No, I'm here. I want to be a tough prospect, Craig.
You're going to be, okay, how about this? Money is attracted to enthusiasm, not empty enthusiasm, not gymmed up enthusiasm, but sincere enthusiasm for what you do. That's what brings money. An obsession about what you do. And I thought of you. Now, here's the quote. This is from Charles Schwab. You remember him? Charles Schwab. Today, his company is still in business. Now, his quote is this. You might want to write this down. A man can succeed at almost anything for which he has unlimited enthusiasm. I'll repeat that again. A man can succeed at almost anything for which he has unlimited enthusiasm.
So there's some good words.
Yeah, there's a couple other quotes here. Here's a good one. How about this? Wealth demands sacrifices that few make to live like few can. Wealth demands sacrifices that few make to live like few can.
Those are good. Thanks for sharing those, Craig. Appreciate it. And thanks.
All right. So what type of prospect do you want to be today?
I want to be a buyer prospect, a tough buyer prospect who just wants to use and abuse agents.
Okay. We don't like those kind, do we?
No.
They've got those kind in Richmond Hill?
Oh, we got them, I think, everywhere. But sometimes we still get...
What information did you request from me, Sam?
Bank-owned and distressed sale properties.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Ring, ring. May I speak to Sam, please?
Yeah, this is him. Who's this?
Sam, this is Craig Proctor, ABC Realty. The reason I'm calling is I received your request for foreclosures and distress sales. Just wanted to let you know I've sent that information out to you, and I wondered if you folks were planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months.
You sent it to my email, Craig?
That's correct.
I didn't get it yet.
Well, I can resend it, but are you planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months, Sam?
I don't know, maybe. Depends on what we find.
Okay. And do you own a home, or are you currently renting?
We own a home.
All right. And do you prefer to stay in Richmond Hill, or you want to move out of the area?
We don't know yet. We're thinking about Richmond Hill or Aurora.
Okay. And if you were to move, when do you think that might be?
We don't know. Maybe this year, maybe next year.
Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
Yeah, we do. We have a realtor.
Okay. Are you 100% committed to that realtor?
Well, we bought or sold our previous homes with that agent, and probably might just talk to him.
Okay. Well, you know, there's a tremendous difference between real estate agents, what they do, and how much they charge to get the job done. You think you might be open to speaking with me as well when the time is right?
Well, why don't you just send me the homes, and then, you know, if they're good, I'll call you, you know?
Well, Sam, I don't want to step on any toes. I mean, if you have a realtor, there's not much sense in me sending you information.
Well, no, I don't have any contracts with them. He's just sending me homes, and you can send me the homes too, right?
Well, look, I want to do a good job for you. And what I'd like to do, Sam, is I'd like to email you daily updates of homes that match your criteria, not just from my company, but from all the different real estate companies. And my list is going to include bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, distressed sales, vacant homes, homes that have been recently reduced by $20,000 or more, etc. It's a free service, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Do you think that might interest you?
Well, yeah, you can send it to me. You have my email address. Just send it to me, and if I see anything I like, then I'll call you.
Okay, but as I said, Sam, I want to do a good job for you. And if you can meet with me for about 15 or 20 minutes, I can have that same great understanding that you have about what you're looking for. And that way, I'll only be emailing you homes that are a perfect match. And we won't miss out on the perfect one. So
okay,
when do you think would be a good time for us to meet?
Craig, I'm just so busy right now. I'll tell you what I want. I want a detached home with a big lot, and I wanted to have an income from the basement. But
if I sent you homes with electric baseboard heating, are those the type of homes you might be interested in?
No, not those types of.
Okay, but you didn't tell me that. You see, and that's a perfect example of me not understanding exactly what you're looking for. You told me what you were looking for, but you did not specify that you don't want homes with electric baseboard. I also assume you probably wouldn't be interested in homes that have aluminum wiring. Is that a safe assumption, Sam?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so we've quickly identified in 30 seconds 2 criteria that you did not detail that are not of interest to you. So that's why it's important for us to meet, because if we meet, I can do a good job for you. I want to have that safe and great understanding of exactly what you're looking for that you have.
Yeah, okay. All right. So
do you see how when you ramped it up, I also ramped it up?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was really good, Craig.
Right.
I have nothing else to say.
Well, you either say this. This is what's going to happen. You either succumb and you meet with me, or I say, well, then I guess I can't help you because I want to do a good job for you, and you won't let me. So best of luck. Thanks for calling. Yeah, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, because I was being a moving target, and I guess you got me at every point. So,
well, look at here's what happens. Either I've got you, or I don't, and I'm okay either way. You see, this is why we want to generate lots of leads, because you want to see Craig Proctor. Here's Craig Proctor, 1980s. Okay, Sam, look at. Here's the truth. I'm like really desperate. You're the only buyer I've had all week. So, yeah, I'll just send you whatever you want. And how about this? You call the shots in this relationship because I'm absolutely desperate. I have no rules of engagement. So you're going to pull the strings, and we're going to do it your way. That was the Craig Proctor of the 1980s. And that was also the Rick Brash of the early Rick Brash, right? Rick, when a buyer called you, early in your career, before you lived in abundance, before you had lots of leads, when you lived when you were operating from a position of desperation, who called the shots? Did you have rules of engagement? No.
None. My clinical answer was, I'll be right over.
Okay, so I want everyone to write this down. If you don't have rules, then guess whose rules you follow? The buyers.
Right.
If you don't have rules of engagement, then you follow the buyer's rules of engagement. You're operating under their rules. So do you want to operate your business with your rules or their rules?
Hey, Sam, the other thing that you and I have talked about many times that Craig is demonstrating here very, very precisely is getting to the point of making an offer. If we can't make an offer, it's essentially impossible to get together. The prospect isn't going to say, well, I think we should get together and figure this out. He's not going to say that. And you didn't say that. Neither has anybody else this morning. Craig just works his way logically and sensibly to the point of making an offer that makes total sense for the person he's talking to. And if everybody can take that away from our conversation today, that's really important. Without an offer, there's no meeting. And here's Craig.
I like what you say there, Rick, about I'm making a logical offer. Now, if they don't accept my logical offer, okay, it means they're being illogical. I'm being rational. They're being irrational. Right? Everything that we're offering the prospects makes sense. So for them not to follow through on our offers that make sense, the only reason they wouldn't do this is fear of cost or obligation. It's up to us to do a good job of eliminating any fear of cost or obligation. But even then, still, every once in a while, you're going to have some prospects that are not going to do it your way. And the reason they're not going to do it your way is because they have no intention of ever doing business with you. They want to waste your time. And if you let them waste your time, it's your fault. All right. Very good, Sam. Sam?
Thanks, Craig. Thanks for everything.
All right. Andrea, who's next?
Our next guest is Vanita Jacobson. Your mic is now open.
Good morning, Craig.
Vanita. I like that name.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so it's V-E-N-I-T-A.
That's it. It means to arrive in Latin.
To arrive. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what Craig means? Craig is Scottish for rock.
Oh, you sound like a rock.
Yeah, like a rock. I'm a rock. I was named after a rock. I mean,
rock star, right? Rock star.
Yeah, yours is kind of cooler than mine. Yours is to arrive. Mine's rock. And I don't know what Rick
Anita
stands
has
for, but
arrived.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, my God.
Okay.
Hi, Rick.
Vanita, what
Yes.
type of prospect would you like to be? A buyer or a seller, and what did you respond to?
Buyer and new home construction.
A buyer of new home construction.
Right.
Okay. So I'm calling Vanita. Ring, ring. May I speak to Vanita, please?
Speaking.
Hi, Vanita. Craig Proctor here with ABC Realty. The reason I'm calling is I received a request for new home, whatever, and I've sent that information out to you, and I wondered if you folks were planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months.
We're thinking about it. Probably more like 6 months.
6 months out, okay. And you're going to be, do you own right now, or are you renting?
Oh, we're renting.
Renting,
We're
okay.
first-time home buyers.
Well, congratulations. Now, if you were to do this, Vanita, when do you think this might be? You said 6 months?
Yeah, probably in about 6 months.
Okay, and is there a reason? Is there a reason?
Is
there a reason for the 6 months? Is there a reason why you have to wait 6 months?
Yeah, we still have time on our lease.
Time on your lease. If you could get out of that lease early, if I could help you do that, would you consider moving in a shorter time frame?
Sure. You can do that?
Well, I can perform miracles. Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
Kind of.
Okay, and is this someone you're 100% committed to?
No, we haven't signed any contracts.
Yeah, okay. So you're open to maybe speaking to other realtors before you make a decision?
Sure.
Okay. Now, is it just new home construction you're looking for, Vanita, or would you also be interested in resales that perhaps may represent a great deal?
Well, we really kind of were looking for new homes because we wanted to add the touches that we want to the house.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't want any.
Have you considered looking at resales as well in addition to new construction?
Not really. I guess because we kind of.
What about homes that were under 2 years old?
Well, I guess that's considered new.
Well, the landscaping would be done. They've got the window coverings. The appliances are in. Any problems with the new home have been dealt with. So I'm just asking if you might be interested in looking at homes that are almost new construction, perhaps homes that are 2 years old, or 2 years or less.
Okay, well, we hadn't thought about it, but yeah, that would be something to consider.
Because what I'd like to do, of course, with your okay, Vanita, is email you daily updates of all the homes that are new construction or close to new construction that match your criteria. And, of course, some of these new homes are already coming on the market as bank foreclosures. Some of them are transfers, company home properties, other distress sales. And I'd like to send those to you with your okay. It's a free service. And, of course, you would never be obligated to buy a home. Do you think that might interest you?
Well, we don't really want, we're not interested in any foreclosures or distress sales because, we don't want to have to do anything to the house. That's why we're looking at new homes. So we're not interested in anything like that. It has to be fixed up.
Well, not every foreclosure needs to be fixed up. And company-owned homes are people that have just been transferred. Sometimes it's a distress sale. Perhaps somebody passed away. There's reasons they lost their job. There's a reason why they need to get their home sold. So it doesn't always mean that the home is in ill repair or needs work. And of course, by me simply sending you the list, it wouldn't obligate you to buy any home that didn't interest you. I'm just giving you options.
So these homes are in good condition, and you're saying?
Some of them are, yes.
Okay.
Would you be interested in at least getting information on homes that are under 2 years of age that match your criteria? Some of them are owned by very motivated home sellers and would represent a great deal for you. Do you think that might interest you?
Yeah, I think that would interest us. And you know what? The other thing that we want is when we were on your on the website, we saw this thing that said Insider Secrets Revealed. And so we wanted that report so that we could read it over too.
Great. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we get together for about 20 minutes? I can take down your criteria, get a great understanding of exactly what you're looking for, and I can bring the report over. We can, have a conversation about exactly what you're trying to do and answer all of your questions. Of course, there's no cost or you're never obligated to do anything. Do you think that might interest you?
Yeah, I think that would interest us, but when are you talking about doing this?
Well, what's convenient? Are you available during the days or are evenings better?
Well, we both travel a lot for business, so we're in and out of town all the time. And
well, when's the next time that Vanita, when's the next time that you're all together?
Next weekend, not this coming weekend, but the following one.
Vanita, it doesn't even sound like you guys need a house.
Pardon me?
You're never home. I'm only kidding. Okay.
Well, we need some place to store all the collectibles from.
Store all the stuff. Okay, I got it. All right. So why don't we make an appointment for then? Does that sound good?
For next week?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So you and I agree on a time, and we set the time, and it's that easy.
Right. Okay.
Now, what did you learn there? Is there anything that you like there, or did you know all that stuff?
Yeah. Well, I kind of knew that stuff, but then I did like emphasizing the fact that even though it's a foreclosure or distress, that it's a possibility it's going to be in good condition. So don't let that scare you away.
Right, well, do you notice how you said you only wanted new? You only wanted new, and I said, well, how about homes that are almost new? Right. I'm opening up new possibilities right now. So now now I was starting to get you thinking as the buyer, thinking, well, gee, I haven't really considered homes that are almost new. And you said, well, I don't want to do any work. And I said, well, that's the great thing about homes that are almost new. A lot of the work's been done. The landscaping's been done. All the window coverings are up. Any problems that the new home had, those problems have probably been dealt with. I mean, would you be open? Have you considered that possibility as well? You see, the more doubt we create, the more need there is for you and I to have this meeting.
Right. And I like the part about the lease, that there's possibility that, we can get you out of the lease.
Correct.
That part I liked. I know that sometimes you can get the seller to kick in some more closing money to pay off the lease, but, any other ways.
Right. So the more possibilities that we can open, the more things that the prospect perhaps has never thought of. Because, you see, as a prospect, what I heard you saying to me is that you as a buyer had certain convictions. Okay, your convictions were, I only wanted to buy new. Your convictions were that a bank foreclosure would mean like a fixer-upper and I don't want to do a lot of work, right? Your conviction was, well, I can't possibly do this even though I'd like to because I've got a lease for another 6 months. So by shattering your convictions and creating some doubt or suggesting other possibilities, it created a need. You felt more compelled to meet with me.
Right. So even though they're 6 months out, because of the reason is the lease.
It may be 6 months out, but remember, you're a buyer. Remember, you're a first-time buyer. And you probably remember me saying this, Vanita. I said, if they're a seller, like if you owned a home, and you said, look, I've been transferred and there's no darn way we're going to list our home for 6 months, I would not be pressing to set a listing appointment with you today because you're telling me you've got a very real reason why you're not going to list your home for 6 months. And I know what's going to happen. If I force an appointment today, 6 months from now, when you're ready to list, you're going to have forgotten everything I had to say.
Okay.
But with a buyer, even though you might potentially be 6 months out, I'm going to assign you to a 1-year buyer agency agreement, so I don't care. As long as you're going to do something within a year and you're willing to sign the buyer agency agreement, I'm willing to meet with you.
Okay. So then if a person is far out, doesn't mean that you don't sign them up anyway and work with them.
If they're a buyer, right. 1 year, my rule is I'll go as far as a year with the buyer because I know I can sign to a 1-year buyer agency agreement. If it's a seller, they better be doing something within the next couple of weeks, or I would prefer to follow up with them because if I force an appointment with a seller today and they're not going to be selling their home for 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, I know only bad things can happen. When they're ready to list their home 6 months down the road, they've forgotten all about me. Whatever price I gave them obviously is not relevant anymore. They meet with another realtor. Well, I'm at great disadvantage. The other realtor they're meeting with today, I met with them 6 months ago. How much are they going to retain of what I had to say 6 months later? Not much.
Right.
So we don't want to ever place ourselves at great disadvantage.
Okay. Now, would you put them into the email campaign? I mean, would you put everyone into that Success Website email campaign?
Yeah, what the heck? It doesn't cost anything.
Okay. Yeah, so even, if you have someone and you have an appointment and you've signed them up, still put them in that.
Put them all in. Put your mother-in-law in. Who cares?
Put everybody in. Okay, everybody goes in.
Everybody goes in. You put a first name and their email address, and they get stuff, and they can take themselves off whenever they want, but who cares?
Okay. And then just one other question, and I'll let you go. On the website, when I mentioned about the insider secrets revealed, when you go to the landing page and it says that, it makes it seem as though they're getting a report called Insider Secrets Revealed. But it's
so just bring a bunch of reports. They won't even remember that. When you get to their home, just print out a bunch of reports off of the website. Bring them 162 different things, whatever. They're not, all they're really saying is, you know what, we'd like some help with this. That's what they're really saying. If you could bring us some information. Now, if they're a buyer, obviously you're going to bring them information about mistakes to avoid when buying, and if they're a seller, about selling.
Right, okay. And I promise it's the last question. And it doesn't matter if you email them first or after the call?
Not at all. You're only going to simply change the introduction. So if I sent the information to you out already, I would say, hi, Vanita, it's Craig Proctor of ABC Realty. The reason I'm calling is it was in response to your request for whatever, and I've sent that information versus I'm about to send the information.
Okay, and it doesn't, in terms of strategy, it doesn't matter which way.
Well, and you know what? When they're hotline leads, we don't have their email address. They leave us we ask for their mailing address, and when they come in through the website, we ask for their email address. what I used to say is I would look at my contact manager and I would be specific about, okay, did we email them this stuff or did we mail them this stuff? And then sometimes I would mess that up. So then I just simplified it. I don't even use email or we mailed it to you. I don't say that anymore. I just say we sent you. Just we sent you.
Okay.
You know, we're going to send you or we did send you. Then you don't have to worry whether your assistant emailed the information or mailed the information. It's all covered by just using the word, hey, Vanita, I just want to let you know we're about to send you or we sent you the blah, blah information you wanted.
Okay. Well, you know, mine, I kind of got off on a slow start because of my marketing, and Success tweaked my Google pay-per-click campaign, and now they're coming in almost daily.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really, I'm really happy.
Look, we're going to wrap it up here, folks. Thanks for being with us. Did something a little different here today. Give us your feedback. Remember, I played the agent, you played the prospect. We can shake it up. Try a few different things here, but let me know whether you like this or not. Anyway, tomorrow, Ad Clinic Day. Send us your ads, upload your ads. We're going to pick out a bunch of ads, and we're going to try to show you how to make more money and spend less. So tomorrow, 11 a.m. on the East Coast, 8 a.m. on the West Coast. Please join us for our Ad Clinic webinar. Big thanks to Rick Brash and Andrea. Thanks for your help today. Thanks for everybody for being part of the program, being with us. But that concludes our role